Welcome and thank you for joining us on Talk of the Nation. Now, recently, Uganda took part in the Kampala Declaration to set up a strategy and action plan 2026-2035 that is planned to revolutionize Africa's agriculture by fostering resilient and sustainable food systems, especially organic food systems. Now, to help us appreciate this, we do have Charlton Namuwoza, the Executive Officer of the National Organic Agriculture Movement of Uganda, but also he is the President of the African Organic Network, which is a continental body that unites the organic industry. Good evening to you, Charlton, and thank you for joining us.
A very good evening, Mildred, and thanks for hosting me again.
It's a pleasure. Now, getting straight to it, talk to us about the state of production in the country. We see more farmers still engaging in organic farming.
Yes. Oh, first of all, we need to know, we need to inform the audience and everyone out there that Uganda has a deep culture for organic agriculture, and this has been echoed and re-echoed several times by our Minister of State for Agriculture, the retired Major Honorable Chakulaga Bwino, who has highlighted that deep down there, when you traverse the country, from the north to the south and from the east to the west, farmers are involved in what we call organic by default practices, traditional farming practices that in many ways qualify as organic. Of course, there is the science and some extra things they've got to do, putting in place quality management systems, putting in place a traceable system. But by and large, we're talking about people that appreciate at the heart, at the center of what they do, they make sure they are involved in what is, acceptable as organic.
Okay, but we've received, so many farmers have come up to say that, especially those that are looking to make an income out of farming as a project,
yes,
are claiming that the organic farming system is not profiting them.
Well, that's not true, especially if we are talking about typical organic farming, because you see, some farmers claim to be doing what we call organic when they're actually planting and harvesting, because organic agriculture is built on four principles. It runs on four principles: the principle of health, the principle of ecology, the principle of care and fairness. And one of the key things that an organic farmer must do is take care of the soil. Life begins in the soil. A healthy soil, a fertile soil means a healthy plant, and you'll get yields, significant yields, when you pay attention to these things. Now, the trouble we have in this country is that most of the farmers simply do not apply chemicals, and they call themselves organic. You've got to go an extra mile to take care of the soil health, the biological, the physical, and the chemical properties, and make sure that there are nutrients in the soil and there is water. And that's why organic farming requires us to do certain practices, trenching to get the moisture in the soil, mulching, keeping the moisture in the soil so that during the dry season you're able to, the plant is able to grow, because any plant, healthy plant, requires water, it requires nutrients, it requires a healthy soil with the right structure and texture, and all these things must be in a good balance. So this is where, of course, many farmers get it wrong. But those that have, done all these things, and those that are certified, that have, passed the key performance indicators of organic agriculture, have very good testimonies. And we have an event coming up. Most of these farmers will be there at the UMA showgrounds, where we'll be showcasing, and this is an annual event, we'll be showcasing different products grown by our farmers, excellent, exceptional, and outstanding farmers that take care of the soils, take care of the environment, make sure they're observing the four principles of organic farming.
Perhaps that is why some farmers look at the organic farming as a harder option, especially if you're looking to make profit out of it, because you did mention the mulching, using chemicals and all of that. I feel like some farmers may find that approach as a daunting task.
Not at all. Actually, when you look at it from a holistic point of view, they benefit a lot more, because we are talking about local available materials. And besides mulching, I mean, we shouldn't look at it from one angle. Mulching is one of them. Farmers might say, oh, I don't have the grass, I don't have this. But there are many ways you could cover the soil, for instance, using green manure, you know, leguminous crops like beans, mukuna and all the other types, you know, groundnuts and many others that will cover the soil, minimize the weeds. So in that case, a farmer doesn't have to do 2 or 3, you know, weeding. You know, you can't weed more than once when you have all these cover crops. And there are many other things that you can do, you know, agroforestry that will help you to fix the soil structure and texture, and of course fix the moisture in the soil and keep the soil, you know, healthy. So when you talk to farmers that have been involved in organic farming for a long time, they're happy. They're happy and they're earning. And you know, the demand for organic products is huge. If you put your product, good quality product on the market, and I'm talking about organic market, even on the local market, because we have supermarkets here that are stocking organic products. We have healthy, you know, shops. We have that are mushrooming. We have quite a number of farmers markets where consumers that appreciate organic will go, and they are ready to pay, you know, a premium because they appreciate and they are willing to work with the farmers. Okay, before we get into the Kampala Declaration, just for the benefit of the viewer, you know, somebody that is just joining us, to understand what are some of those things that comprise organic foods? So organic foods obviously are healthy. We are talking about nutritious. We are talking about environmentally friendly products that do not harm, you know, the environment. And of course, within the bigger context of organic agriculture, we are talking about products that will obviously bring income to because they fetch a good price, and they obviously take care of the needs, the economic needs of the farmers, but not just the farmers. We're also talking about the traders that aggregate from the farmers. We are talking about processors that add value. You know, they buy from farmers, add value, and they've set up huge factories, and they are manufacturing, you know, high value products that are sold locally, regionally, and globally. So from a sustainable or sustainability point of view, organic agriculture speaks to the economic, the social, environmental, but also cultural needs of society. Okay, so now getting into the Kampala Declaration that has set up a strategy and action plan for the 2026. Of course, as you know, as a way to revolutionize the Africa's agriculture by fostering resilient and sustainable food systems. What are specific commitments that Uganda has made under the Kampala Declaration? I think one of the things that we need to understand is that we're coming from a certain background. You may recall that the Malabo Declaration is coming to an end, and that's why the Kampala Declaration is here next year in January. And the idea is to recommit our government, so our countries, to sustainable agriculture. And for me, to get our farmers out there to appreciate why they need to pay attention to this is that Uganda is not an island. We work with other nations. We are part of the bigger community. So as Africa, we want to see that we build sustainable and resilient food systems. And organic agriculture is one of these. Actually, with organic agriculture, you can't go wrong. So farmers need to understand that our governments are meeting again to commit to supporting agriculture, to make sure that the critical needs of agricultural sector are taken care of. You know that we have low production and productivity. You know, most of our farmers in Africa cannot afford inputs, for instance. And over the last 3-4 years, we have seen that the global supply chains have been disrupted, especially because of the Russia-Ukraine war. So fertilizers are very costly, you know, pesticides are very costly. So what you need at the point of production is an input that is affordable. And we have them here in Uganda and the rest of Africa. You know, locally manufactured affordable organic products that are effective and will give you the yields that we would want to see as a continent.
Okay. Yeah. Now let us talk about you know, the policies or regulations that are in place that are being put to ensure that sustainability of organic food crops does flourish. Yeah. As we get to wrap up the conversation.
Exactly. So in Uganda, and we would like to appreciate our government, they approved the National Organic Agriculture Policy after 15 solid years of engaging on different fronts and consulting the different stakeholders. And this policy has since been implemented. We, of course, we are part of the process to enact a legislation that will strengthen the implementation of this policy. But from 2019, yes, when the policy was approved, up to now, we see a lot of progress in terms of production, in terms of investments in the value addition, you know, part of the value chain. We see a lot happening globally. Uganda is the country with the highest number of certified farmers on the African continent, according to the just released statistics by the research organization based in Switzerland, and we are the second to India in the whole world. So that tells you that we are progressing. So that's one of the policies. We have others that are in the offing, like we have the National Agroecology Strategy, and we have many others that are supporting the sector.
Yeah. So finally, in your closing remarks, I know you have already hinted on this, but you are coming towards the National Organic Week, you know, later next week, which is marked annually, and I would like to know what are some of the activities that you have prepared for this.
First of all, permit me to express my gratitude to the stakeholders out there that have signed up to attend or participate in the National Organic Week that is happening next week, starting on Wednesday, November 20th to the 23rd. And this is an annual event that will be taking place at the UMA Showgrounds. For the first time in the history of our sector, we are making it bigger and better. And all roads lead to UMA. We'll have a number of activities. We have a national organic exhibition that features different products, from inputs to crops to animal, all manner of our products. Come and see. We'll have virtual organic tours at the comfort of your chair at UMA Showgrounds. You can see what is happening on a typical organic farm. We'll be having National Organic Awards, and our chief guest is the President of the Republic of Uganda.
Thank you.
I have already received confirmation, and we have different ministers and commissioners, private sector buyers coming. So you've got to come, and this is an opportunity to come and learn and experience the world of organic agriculture.
I am sure they have heard you loud and clear. Thank you, Charlton Namuwoza, the Chief Executive Officer of the National Organic Agriculture Movement of Uganda, but also the President of the African Organic Network, that is a continental body that unites the organic industry. And with that, we take a break and return with news from the world of sport.